Hey y'all, I can't lie, I have been in rough shape for the past 3 days. My husband and I competed in the CrossFit Open Games, and I straight up could not straighten my arms for 3 days from attempting to do chest to bar pull-ups. So we're going to be doing a little bit of upper body rehab, not only for me, but also for you. And you'll want a couple tools for this. So you'll want to grab a foam roller. If you don't have a foam roller, you can do what we're going to do together with a really firm pillow or bolster, or some other kind of round object similar in circumference to a foam roller. And then a lacrosse ball or a lacrosse peanut. If you don't have a lacrosse ball, use any other kind of ball, tennis ball, baseball. The reason why lacrosse ball is specifically so good is because it's harder than a tennis ball and it's smaller than a baseball, so it's a little bit more specific. But just use what you got. So we'll start on our mat. We're going to be pretty low to the ground, keep it nice and easy for this, and just address any pain in the upper back and upper body. So we'll work on the arms, the forearms, and the wrists a little bit as well. We'll get started on elbows and knees. You can come to an elbow tabletop. Take a couple cat-cows, just arch and round with a few breaths. I find that this always stimulates my upper back in a new and interesting way. So if anything feels sticky there, this might be particularly useful. Go ahead and pause when you're in the middle next time and just take one elbow or forearm into the other one. And you can start on the outside, the side that tends to have more hair on it, and use any part of the forearm. So you could use the elbow and just kind of slide down. You can make circles in one particular meaty spot. If you'd like to kind of roll so that you use some of the wrist, maybe even the knuckles and the hand, but we're just trying to kind of get some blood flow into the tissue of the forearms and loosen it up. And you can use this other side of the forearm as well, or rather manipulate the other side of the forearm. So using your elbow on both sides. Same idea, just get it moving using any part of the elbow, forearm, or hand. If there's one spot that feels really tender for you, I know there is one for me, so you can just hang out there and maybe really drive the elbow into it. Good, we'll do the other side. Start wherever it feels fruitful. One arm might be more tender than the other one. And you can move kind of intuitively here. If you're someone who really likes a strategic approach, then start with the elbow, and then you can start to slide with the forearm. And then use some of the wrist and the knuckles. And try some circular motions. And just move things around. Really good. When it feels like you're pretty even, you'll come onto your hands and flip your fingertips around. And take a seat towards your heels. So you may or may not sit onto your heels. You can have your hands pretty close to you. So I've got my fingertips like just about an inch or two in front of my knees for this. And if you want to distract from whatever sensations you're having, you can rock a little side to side. Flip the wrists over so that the backs of the hands are down. And again, rock a little bit side to side. If you want more weight in this part of the arm, you can walk your shoulders and your hands further forward, putting a little bit of extra weight into it. If you want less weight, more stretch, just lean back further. Good. You'll bring the palms down to the ground again, but we're just going to focus on the right hand. So your left hand's going to come around. You've got your right fingertips facing towards your body, and you've got the elbow pit facing out in front of you. And you're just going to pick up each finger and pull on each finger. So pretty gentle. If your fingers don't move very far from the floor, that's fine. But just noticing how maybe some of the tension in the back and arms translates all the way down into the hands. Let that go, roll the wrist out, and we're going to do the same thing on the other side. Left fingertips face you, and start at whatever finger makes sense. And just lift them each up. Feel that little bit of sensation of stretch. And again, if there's a particular one you want to linger with for a couple of extra breaths, use this time how you need to. Good. Let that go. Give that wrist a roll. We'll take a seat back on the heels or whatever seat works for you. Fingertips to the tops of your shoulders. Now image in your mind, you've got pens or a beam of light shooting out of your elbows. Take a big circle, reaching the beam of light or marker up, back, down. And so just image in your mind that the tip of the elbow is creating a giant circle in space. And the image sometimes helps us to embody the movement a little bit more. So if you took the beam of light, you can imagine shining that light across the room to all the edges, down to the floor, up to the ceiling. Or maybe you've got a paintbrush with some purple paint brushing through the air. Go the other direction as well. Really good. Let that go. And we'll swing our legs out in front of us. I just want to practice some twists before we get into something a little bit intense. So you'll extend your right leg straight, take your left foot, cross it over top your right ankle, or pardon me, your right thigh. And then just hold on to the front of the shin and sit up really tall. As tall as you can kind of scoot your bum a little bit side to side so you really feel like you're up on top of a nice little throne here. And then take your right hand, hold on to your left leg somewhere. If it's the calf, maybe it's all the way towards the top of the thigh. But you're gonna hug this leg in, lift your chest up, and turn around. Your left hand can just sprinkle down to the floor somewhere by your hip or back behind you as you rotate the chest. You might feel this a lot in your hip and less in your upper back, but I promise you're getting a twist there too. Good, just spin the other way, so kick the left leg away. Now you're just crossing the other foot. Lift up really tall first. Either hold on to the calf and reach behind you, or hug the leg in and hold on to the thigh. Keep trying to pull the back shoulder even further back without leaning back. So you're still sitting up tall, but it's across the chest that you elongate the collarbone back behind you. Really good. You can let the twist go. Now we're gonna grab that foam roller. So the foam roller is gonna go right underneath the armpits. You can imagine you kind of have like a protrusion out of the armpit. I would favor the right side of the foam roller for this because we're gonna kind of be rolling here. So favor the right side of the foam roller, meaning go more towards the right. And then you'll just scoot onto the right side of your body and have your right arm out in line with your shoulder, and take your left hand and just put it on top for now. And you find a good enough position for the neck, right? If you want to drop your head down, you're welcome to. If you want to hold it up a little bit, that's great. Now you'll open up the left arm back behind you. The arm can come into a cactus. You can let the elbow dip. Maybe your head drops back for a moment, lift the chest, and you're going to take 5 like this. So bringing your hands to close might feel a little bit intense on the bottom shoulder as you roll through the lat here, and then open it up. Your knees might splay apart a little bit, but you're really going to think about letting the top thigh drop as you open into the twist. Hands will come together and you'll open again, and you'll do it 3 more times. Good. You can pull yourself out of that. And we're going to move over to the other side. As always, as we're kind of moving through these, if it's more fruitful for you to just stay in one position than it is for you to move in and out of it, by all means, do that. So you'll set up your left armpit on the bottom, or whatever the other one is for you, and open yourself up like you're trying to give your favorite person a hug. Maybe let your head drop back as your arm goes as far down to the floor as possible. And then from here, you have about 5 more. Last one. Good. Pop on out of that, set your foam roller off to the side. We're gonna grab our lacrosse ball, and you can use either a peanut if you have one, that's this peanut shape, or the single lacrosse ball. Just use whatever you have. Obviously, if you don't have one, other balls will substitute well. You'll take the lacrosse ball, and we're going to start on the inside of one of the shoulder blades. So your shoulder blade is just an upside down triangle, right? So I'm trying to create a triangle with my hands. Okay, so this is the shoulder blade on the back. You're going to start on the inside of it, the part a little bit closer to the spine. It's kind of at an angle, so it's more of like a right angle. I like to hold on to the back of my head, and that scoops the shoulder blade slightly out to the side too. So you get a little bit more space to kind of work with some of the tissue that is generally hidden by the shoulder blade. And as you're here, you, again, might use your imagination to help your body find a little bit more depth image in your mind that your body is kind of melting over the surface of the ball. If you've ever baked a cake and, I don't know, put frosting or melted chocolate and poured it over the cake as a glaze, you can think about yourself becoming molten and melty like that glaze, and forming around this lacrosse ball or whatever it is you have underneath you. Good. You can take that over to the other shoulder. If you want to use your feet to steer yourself, I like to just hover my hips up and kind of get it into the position I want. Take a few moments here. See if you can find a little bit more of a melty quality. Release your jaw. Let your arms soften a little bit more down. Let your front body get a little bit softer. Good. You can ditch the lacrosse ball out from underneath you. If you're feeling pretty good about this rehabilitation journey and you want to continue for a few minutes, best of luck. And I hope you feel really rejuvenated for tomorrow. Thanks for stopping by.